morning. This is Mrs. Webb. I'm getting a little better with these videos. Here we go. Okay, we're going to go over one or two application problems when you have systems. Okay, now remember, when you have an application problem with a system, that means you have two variables and you want to be able to solve them. And we have three methods to choose from: graphing, substitution, elimination. I am not going to do it by graphing because that's not very precise. So I will probably do either substitution or elimination. So let's go give these a try. Okay, let me get my pen going here. There we go. Now remember, when we do a word problem, you want to read the problem. In fact, you're in luck now that you're at home, you can read it out loud. That helps a lot. When you read the problem, see if you can draw a picture. If you can't figure out what they're talking about, draw a little picture that might help you. Make sure you define your variables. You can start by kind of writing it half in algebra, half in English, and then you want to write your equations in algebra. And you always want to check your answer. Now, what I mean by that is you can't always go back algebraically and double check it, but you want it, does it make logical sense? If you're solving something where you buy hot dogs and a Coke at the basketball game and the Cokes are -$4, then you have probably made a mistake, right? So let's think about that a little bit as far as at the end, does it make logical sense? Okay, so the first one, and I've already decided this, I'll never pronounce that correctly. So I am going to change this to Jane. Okay, so Jane's school, I'm going to read it out loud. Jane's school is selling tickets to a choral performance. On the first day of ticket sales, the school sold 10 adult tickets and 2 child tickets for a total of $40. The school took in $49 on the second day by selling 13 adult tickets and 2 child tickets. I want to find, and here this is my last sentence here, find the price of an adult ticket and the price of a child ticket. Now remember, when I'm looking at that last line, those are probably my two variables. I could say X is going to be equal to the price of an adult ticket and Y is going to equal the price of a child ticket. Now, do I have to use the letters X and Y? No, I do not. I could have used A and C, but I picked X and Y, and let's go with it. But you can pick whatever you want for those variable names. You could have put W and Z or A and C, whatever you want. As long as you define them ahead of time, you tell me what they are. So I'm going to go back up here, and it says that on the first day, so I'm like, okay, the first day, they got ticket sales, and they sold 10 of the adult tickets. Now, I said the adult tickets were X. So if I sold 10 of them and I multiplied it times the price, there we go. And I have 2 child tickets for a total of $40. So if I added that to twice, and my child tickets, I defined them as Y, I would get $40. In this case, it's pretty simple and straightforward to be 10 times the price of the adult tickets plus 2 times the price of the child ticket would get me $40. Okay, let's look at the next one. It says the school took in $49. So now the 49 I'm going to put over here. They got $49 on the second day by selling, 13 adult tickets. 13 adult tickets, and also 2 child tickets. Okay, so if I can solve this system, I can tell you how much the adult tickets cost and how much the child tickets cost. Okay, so if I want to solve this, I could solve it by graphing, and I don't want to do that. I could try by elimination, And let me look at that. Elimination would be the easiest because look, I have two of them are exactly the same. If I come down here and I multiply this one by -1, then I can add them and it'll get rid of that y. So I'm going to come over here and rewrite them. I'm going to go 10x plus 2y is equal to 40. And then I'm going to distribute that -1 all the way across. -13x minus 2y equals -49. Now I'm going to solve. So I did that -1 there so that I could just add, and those would go bye-bye. Okay, 10 plus -13 gives me a -3x. 40 plus -49 gives me a -9. I divide both sides by -3, and I get x is equal to $3. Uh-oh, my pen's mad again. $3. Okay, now I have now figured out the price of the adult ticket, but I need to find out the price of the child ticket. So if I know x is $3, I can substitute that value back into either this one or this one, and I can solve for y, which is the price of a child ticket. So I'm going to put it into the very first one. 10 times, oh, my pen's messing up, 3, because that's what x is, plus 2y is equal to 40. So I have 30 plus 2y equals 40. I need to get the y all by itself, so I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. I get 2y is equal to 40 minus 30 is 10. I get y is equal, if I divide both sides by 2, 5. Okay, now this is a word problem, and you need to be able to answer that last question. You need to be able to say the price of a adult ticket is $3, and the price of a child ticket is $5. Now, we talked about this in class when we went over it. To me, I'd go, oh, that sounds like a mistake, because isn't the adult ticket usually more? But if I go back and I double check my answer, this is in fact the right answer. But because it doesn't make logical sense to me, I would probably want to go back and make sure that it's true for both of these statements. I'd go 10 times 3 plus 2 times 5 is equal to 40. 30 plus 10 is equal to 40. Then I'd put it in the next one. I put 13, I'm going to go into the original. 13 times 3 plus 2 times 5, does that equal 49? Well, 13 times 3 is 39, plus 10, we do have the right answer. Okay, I want to go over one more, and these are the exact same ones that we did in class. Oh, I like these names. Those are a little bit easier. I'm going to read the question. Amy and Jennifer each improved their yards by planting daylilies and geraniums. They bought their supplies from the same store. Amy spent a total of $164 on 14 daylilies and 2 geraniums. Jennifer spent $102 on 9 daylilies and 1 geranium. Okay, here we go. Find the cost of 1 daylily and the cost of 1 geranium. Remember, if you always look at that last sentence in your word problem, it's telling you what you want to find. Usually you can pick up your variables from here. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. I'm going to use D is equal to the cost of a daylily. And I'm going to say G is equal to the cost of the geranium. Okay, now I'm going to go back and reread my problem. So it says Amy spent a total of $164. I'm going to put my total over here. And she bought 14 daylilies. So if I bought 14 and I knew what the cost was of each one, and 2 geraniums, that's how they would come up with that 164. Jennifer, she spent $102 and she bought 9 daylilies and 1 geranium. Okay, and she spent $102. Okay, now I could graph these. There's 3 different ways. Graph them. I don't want to do that. I could solve them by substitution because this G, it is just a 1 there, and I could move the 9D over here and do it by substitution. But I'm going to use elimination because it's my favorite. And I'm going to multiply this bottom one by a -2. Why? Because if this is a -2, I would eliminate the G. Okay, let's write it over here and you'll see. 14D plus 2G is equal to 164. And remember, in elimination, your goal is to eliminate one of the variables. I'm going to distribute the -2. I'm going to get rid of that G. And remember, this is the part everybody forgets. You have to distribute all the way across. It's 204. And it's a negative because it's -2 times 102. Now I can just add. I get a -4 daylilies. Those get eliminated. Okay, and on this one, I'm going to get a -40. I'm going to divide by -4 on both sides, and I get the daylilies cost $10. Very nice. Okay, but I haven't found out what the geraniums cost. So I'm going to take the value that D is 10, and I'm going to plug it into either this one up here or this one down here. I get to pick. I'm going to pick the top ones. 14 times my daylilies cost 10. I do not know what my geraniums are. There. Do you see where I took this 10 and I substituted it in right there? Okay, I now have 14 times 10 is 140 plus 2G is equal to 164. I'm going to subtract 140 from both sides. I got 2 geraniums, or 2 times the cost of geraniums, and I'm going to subtract here. I get a -24. I then divide both sides by 2, and I get a, oops, that's a +24. I get 24 divided by 2 is $12. So I know the cost of a daylily is $10. And the cost of a geranium is $12. I hope this helps you out as you do your application problems, and remember, you can always video chat with me and I can give you a help on those. Thanks.